Pastor Clement Okusi is the lead pastor of Eternity Church in Croydon. Welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us. And Pastor Clement, obviously you're in a society in Croydon in south of London, very multi-faith society there. How does this reflect with the work you do there?
Well, I mean, Britain, I would agree that Britain is a Christian nation. And, you know, we use the word democracy, and I think in democracy is this idea of majority rule. The majority of people in Britain still identify themselves as Christians. We can argue about the figures, it being declining. And I think there's a growing sense that Christians are feeling that their views and their historical beliefs are being marginalised. And that's causing tension. And I think there is a challenge, because when we say multi-faith, is that at the expense of the host nation's culture and belief system. We are a Christian country. There's churches everywhere. When royalty want to have a wedding, it's a great big Church of England affair. The Queen is the head of the Church of England. Christians, it's a Christian faith that has allowed other cultures and welcomed other cultures, including my own family's culture, to come into this country in the 60s and have freedom and live a better lifestyle.
Pastor Clement, one of the tweets there, problem is a multicultural society. Another saying a secular society is the answer.
Well, I wanted to comment about some of the racism that has come up since the Brexit. You know, I was born in this country, and whilst we're not trying to play down the racism that is being perpetrated today, that's a far cry from the racism I suffered in the East End of London growing up. And so I think we are certainly more cohesive and more welcoming than we have been in the last 30 or 40 years.
I suppose the problem is, though, 331 hate crimes were reported to the police this week. That compares to a weekly average of 63. And what we're talking about is how this feeling, whether it's more has been reported or whether there's a feeling now that people are feeling isolated and
Well, I don't see that in Croydon. Croydon's very multicultural. I don't sense that on the streets. I'm on the streets quite regularly, talking to people one-on-one. I mean, we've got to realise this recent vote we had, 70% turned out to vote for it. I believe there was over 30 million people that voted, that took part in it. So even the figures that are being reported are a small percentage of the overall figure. And I think we've got to be careful how we report those statistics, because it seems that a lot of the problem has been caused by the media's reporting of Brexit.
Let me show you a photo.
Every country must have a host. When I travel overseas, I've travelled all over the world, I accept and respect the culture which I'm going into. When I go to the Middle East...
But Clement, you just say the culture.
There is a host culture.
Have the culture. And also, when you talk about Croydon, what we saw in the referendum was a massive difference across the country between what you see in London and what you see in other parts of the country, divided by class, divided by money, divided by location. So what we really saw is you may have 95% of people voting Remain in East Finchley, but it does not reflect the country, and I think that was the shock.
I think I'm going to have to draw this conversation to an end, but thank you so much for this.